Hope mmekuwa vizuri, hope mmesoma. Let's start our class. Yeah, last time we had finished on the evolution. Thank you. We have finished on the evolution of management theories. We looked at the 4 classes of management theories, which we're going to discuss the management theories, the pre-classical, the classical approach, the classical, we looked at the 2, the scientific, the Taylor, the Fayol, and the Max Weber. Then we came to the behavioral, and then the system approach. For the system approach, I want you now to say that msome your system approach. Ndio sasa tuende for the next class. Tulisema kila class at least 3, maximum of 3 classes. Na hayo mliangalia hizo past papers, the questions that I gave you. The reference questions, I hope mliangalia. I hope mmeangalia mkasoma what is it, were you able to answer, what was a difficult question. Maybe you can be able to discuss it in maybe in the next after an hour. We're going to discuss what you found, the questions, what they had, were you able to handle, were you able to tackle it, and all that. Today, I want us to start on a new topic. According to our syllabus, we're supposed to start on a topic known as leading function. But according to me, it is not wise. You cannot lead people if they don't have a plan. You cannot be able to have a leading function if you have not set up the first function of the management. In your topic 1, I'm sure you learned about the functions of management. Na mkasema, functions of management, they are mostly the 5 functions. That is the planning, that is organizing, that is staffing, directing, and last, the coordinating. Now, we cannot be able to start on the leading, which is now almost similar to directing, if you have not been able to understand the planning. So I'm putting in a function we know as the planning function for the sake of us to be able to understand this unit very well, and also understanding the other functions very well, because it forms like a basis for us to be able to understand now the whole concept of the management, or the concepts of the theories and the classes and the functions of management. So you can scribble something when you have a pen and a paper, then you can be scribble something on the planning functions. Planning functions. Planning function. Now, the planning function, well, let's write something small. Let's write something. Leo tutaandika kidogo kidogo leo. Umezoea kusikiza, leo mtaandika kidogo tu. Sasa waziri, ndio usilale.
Oh, madam, so I'm writing.
Aya. I hope everyone has a pen and a paper, or a book and a paper and a pen. Today we are writing. Today tunaandika. Florence, hakuna kuweka hapo ati na record. Today we are writing. Okay, let's start. Planning function, or say planning is the most fundamental function. Planning is the most fundamental function of management. Planning is the most fundamental functions of management. i.e., it precedes other functions. It precedes other functions. Continue and say, without setting the goals to be reached, and the course of action to be followed, without setting the goals to be reached, and the course of action to be followed, other functions such as organizing, staffing, other functions such as organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling cannot be effective. And controlling cannot be effective. Meaning of planning, or the definition of planning. Meaning or definition of planning. Meaning stroke the definition of planning. We say planning is the management function. Planning is a management function of anticipating the future. Planning is a management function of anticipating the future. And the conscious determination and conscious determination of the future course of action. And conscious determination of the future course of action to achieve the desired results. To achieve the desired results. Continue and say, a plan is a blueprint. A plan is a blueprint of the course of action. A plan is a blueprint of the course of action to be followed in future. A plan is a blueprint of the course of action to be followed in future. Continue and say, planning involves forecasting the future. Planning involves forecasting the future. And determining the course of action. Another paragraph, you say, according to Fayol, remember Fayol, the father of management, the person who came up with the principles of management. So according to Fayol, the plan of action, is one and the same. According to Fayol, the plan of action is at one, not is one, but it is at one and the same time, the results in visage. Continue and say, Fayol defined planning. Fayol defined planning as, then you put the semicolons, say, the kind of future picture wherein approximate events wherein approximate events are outlined. Approximate events are outlined with some distinctiveness. With some distinctiveness. While remote events appear progressively. While remote events appear progressively less distinct. Progressively less distinct. Another paragraph you say, according to Terry, T-E-R-R-Y, according to Terry, planning is a method or a technique. According to Terry, planning is a method or technique of looking ahead. Or technique of looking ahead. Continue and say, it is a deliberate conscious search. It is a deliberate conscious search. It is a deliberate conscious search used to formulate the design, and orderly sequence of events, stroke action, through which it is expected to reach the objective. Through which is expected to reach the objective. Note, NB, note. In brief, planning is deciding in advance. In brief, planning is deciding in advance what to do. Planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do it, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and who is to do it. And who is to do it. Another NB, another paragraph, and still another NB can say, planning involves determination. Planning involves determination of objectives. Planning involves determination of objectives and the results. Planning involves determination of objectives and results, comma, the selection of best possible course of action, the selection of best possible course of action, best possible course of action to achieve the desired results. To achieve the desired results. Achieve the desired results, comma. The time sequence of activities and the resources required. The time sequence activities and the resources required to perform the duties. To perform the duties. Now, in a nutshell, you're saying, anytime you talk about planning is an objective. So the noun is plan. The noun is a plan. The planning is an objective. So when we talk about planning, when you say you have a plan, that means you have a blueprint. You know what you want. You know what you are desiring to achieve. You have set the targets. And then you have set on how you can be able to work towards achieving the target. That means you have the plan. I have a plan on how I'm going to pass my exams. I have a plan on how I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. I have a plan on how I'm going to spend my weekend. I have a plan on how I'm going to spend my 1, 2, 3. So in this case, you have a blueprint. You have set your standards. You have set your goals. You have set the target. You have set what you want to achieve. And also the course of action on how to achieve what you have said. So talk about the planning. Now it is an adjective which describes now the noun. Means a planning, it is now the function which helps an individual to be able to set the plan, to be able to set the goals or to set the blueprint in order to achieve the set targets or the set objective. As I'm saying, planning is a very primary function. It's a very important function. And before you can also lead, before you can organize, before you can do staffing, before you can do marketing, you need to know how to make your plans. You need to know which plans are made by who. In your first topic, I'm going to refer, that first topic is very, very important because it forms the basis of now everything we're going to discuss it in the LM. Now, the first topic, you say that we have the different types of managers. We have the different levels of management. And the types of managers say to have either the top level managers or the middle level managers and the lower level managers. Now, you would also define the work or the specific duties they're supposed to do, the top level, the middle level, and the lower level. Now, one of the activities that these people are going to do is coming up with the goals, is coming up with the targets, is setting the targets, is setting what they are going to achieve in their different levels. For example, the top level management, their work, their major work is to ensure they come up with the long-term plans. They come up with the plans that any person within the organization or within the industry is not the industry, but the organization or the enterprise are going to achieve. And when they are setting the long-term plans, that means they need to have performed the planning function. They need to have undergone and performed the planning function. Because they are planning, it's very vital. It's coming up with the blueprint, coming up with the goals, coming up with the things we are supposed to achieve as an organization or as an enterprise. And I have said different people define things, but you're saying the most common thing you should be able to know. Planning is just a primary function of management, which involves coming up with the set goals and the course of action in order to achieve the set goals. Number next, today we are writing. Today atuna notes. That's why we are in class. The features of planning. Features. Features of planning. Or sometimes someone can ask you, can you explain what it means by planning? And then features of planning. Features of planning. Features of planning. And you say, the nature of planning can be visualized. The nature of planning can be visualized from the following features. The nature of planning can be visualized from the following features. Number one, planning is a primary function. Number one, planning is a primary function. You say something under that, you say, planning provides the basis. Planning provides the basis of the management process. Planning provides the basis of management process. Basis of management function or management process. And say, all other functions of management, are designed to achieve, all other functions of management are designed to achieve the goals set, under the planning, the goal set under the planning. I.e., without planning, there is nothing in organization. Without planning, there is nothing in organization to organize. There is nothing in organization to organize. No one to achieve them. No one to achieve them. And no need to control. And no need to control. And no need to control. Number two, feature number two of planning function. Planning is goal-oriented. Planning is goal-oriented. Planning is goal-oriented. Say, planning is not an end of itself. Planning is not an end in itself. Planning is not an end in itself, but rather it is a means. But rather it is a means towards accomplishment. It is a means towards accomplishment of the objectives. I.e., planning has no meaning. Planning has no meaning unless it contributes. Planning has no meaning unless it contributes in a positive way. It contributes in a positive way to the achievements of the desired goals. To the achievement of the desired goals. i.e., that is, all plans, i.e., all plans emanates from objectives. All plans emanate from objectives. All plans emanate from objective. Number three, planning is all pervasive. Planning is all pervasive. Planning is all pervasive. And say, this function is for each and every manager. This function is for each and every manager, irrespective of their level. Is for each and every manager, irrespective of their level and the area of operation. Irrespective of their level and the area of operation. Irrespective of their operation, irrespective of their level and the area of their operation. Number next, planning is an intellectual process. Planning is an intellectual process. You say, planning is a mental process. Planning is a mental process which involves imagination. Planning is a mental process which involves imagination, foresight, which involves imagination, foresight, and sound judgment. And sound judgment. Continue and say, planning requires mental disposition. Planning requires mental disposition of thinking. Mental disposition of thinking before doing and acting, in the light of facts, before doing and acting in the light of facts rather than guesses. Rather than guesses. Number next, planning is a continuous process. Planning is a continuous process. And say, planning is an ongoing and dynamic exercise. Planning is an ongoing and dynamic exercise. Continue to say, as the assumptions as the assumptions and events, as the assumptions and events on which plans are based changes, as the assumption and events on which plans are based changes, old plans, old plans have to be revised. Old plans have to be revised and new ones prepared. Old plans have to be revised and new ones prepared. Number next, planning is forward-looking. Planning is forward-looking. You say planning involves looking ahead. Planning involves looking ahead and preparing for the future. Planning involves looking ahead and preparing for the future. And preparing for the future. Therefore, forecasting involves assessing. Forecasting involves assessing the uncertain future, assessing the uncertain future, and making provision. And making provision and making provision for it. And making provision for it. Number next, planning involves choice. Planning involves choice. Yes, Marcy? Okay. Planning involves choice. You say, planning is basically a decision making. Planning is basically a decision making or choosing among alternatives available. Or choosing among alternatives available. That is, i.e., there is no need for planning. There is no need for planning if there is only one way of doing something. There is no need for planning if there is only one way of doing something. Number next. Planning is directed towards efficiency. Planning is directed towards efficiency. You say, planning has no relevance. Planning has no relevance if it does not facilitate. Planning has no relevance if it does not facilitate the achievement of objective, if it does not facilitate the achievement of objectives economically, the achievement of objective economically and efficiently. economically and efficiently. And lastly, planning is directed. And lastly, planning is directed. Planning is directed and structured. Planning is directed and structured process. Planning is directed and structured process. i.e., it is an integrated process. i.e., it is an integrated process. You say, you can say something about that, say, planning is structured. Planning is structured. Planning is structured, and the different plans constitute of a hierarchy. And the different plans constitute of a hierarchy. Next, to say planning is time bound. Planning is time bound. I say every cause of action has a definite time horizon. Every cause of action has a definite time horizon. Number next, importance of planning. Importance of planning. Let's take a break of 5 minutes, and then we continue on the importance of planning. A break of 5 minutes. 5 minutes break, and then you continue.
Madam, are we going up to beyond the 10?
Up to 10:30.
Okay, let me fight myself.
Take a break, go release yourself, and then come continue. Welcome back. I'm sure umerelax kidogo, umepata ka break, umekunywa ka chai moto. Yes, Dan? I'm sure umekunywa ka chai moto, umepata ka break kadogo, refresh kidogo. Now let's continue. Tunaongea kuhusu planning function. And say planning, it's a primary function of management. That means inaanza before all other functions of management can be able to start. And you're saying planning is just setting the goals, setting the target, setting what you want to achieve within the specified period of time, and the course of action. How do you want to achieve what you are able to set? And I've said that we have talked about planning, the features of planning, or what you can be able to see, and you say for sure some of the features of planning. You say it is all pervasive, it is goal-oriented. Pervasive means it can be used by anyone at any time, can be used by anyone. Pervasiveness, the person. You say something is pervasive, it means inatumika na kila mtu. It can be used by any level of manager within the organization. We talk about is goal-oriented. That means that's the reason why you are having planning, is because you are setting something you want to achieve in the future. You are setting a target. You are setting the course of action on how to achieve what you want to achieve. For example, the way we started the first class, we said we have this number of classes, number of hours we have, if you have not missed any, and then this are the number of topics you can be able to have, and then we divided, and we found that at most we're supposed to have a topic, supposed to take at least, no, at most 2 classes. It means we have a plan. By the end of the semester, before the exams, we are supposed to have finished our coursework and have revised thoroughly. That means we have set our plans, and also we have set the course of action on how to achieve it. That's why we say that by the end, and in every topic, it's not supposed to take maximum more than 2 classes. That means that is the course of action which can enable us to have finished the syllabus and revise at the end of the term, of the semester. Say planning is the primary function. It means it supersedes all other function. It means it comes before all other function. Planning is intellectual. It means it is a mental process. It involves you thinking, you brainstorming, you coming up with a course of action. It involves involvement. It involves researching. It involves a mental ability to be able to analyze what you have and what you're able to achieve. So it's a continuous process. It means once you have set your plans, you don't just leave at that point. No, you continue plans, because human beings were kept on changing. For example, we said one topic is supposed to get 2 classes, but Mwalimu was sick for 2 classes, he missed. That means one topic is gone. Then it means we need to have a way of able to recover our classes, our time. That means it's a continuous process. We change every time depending on the surrounding or depending on the environment. We say it is looking forward. Means you don't plan for today. You plan for tomorrow. You plan for the future. You plan for what you want to achieve in the future. Plan involves choices. Means if there's no choice, kama hakuna option, if there are no choices or there are no alternative, then there's no need for planning. And say planning is also integrated. It is an integrated process. It means it involves, or it is a structure process which involves all participants to play a part in coming up with plans. And say planning is directed towards efficiency. The reason why we had planned, the reason why I said 2 class, 1 topic, the reason why we have done that is for us to be able to achieve efficiency. Now, let's do something else, the importance of planning. Now, why do we need to have the set goals? Why do we need to have those targets? Why do you need to have a course of action? Why do we need to know, to have a blueprint on what we want to achieve in the future, the needs or the importance of planning? Number 1, the importance of planning. Number 1, you say planning focuses attention. It focuses attention on objectives and results. Focuses attention on objectives and results. You say planning concentrates attention. Planning concentrates attention on the dominant goal Planning concentrates attention on the dominant goal of the organization. Planning concentrates attention on the dominant goal of the organization. On the dominant goal of the organization. Number 2, it reduces uncertainty and risks. Reduces uncertainty and risks. You say uncertainty and change. Uncertainty and change are inevitable. Uncertainty and change are inevitable. Are inevitable. And planning cannot eliminate. And planning cannot eliminate them. And planning cannot eliminate them. But planning enables an organization, but planning enables an organization to cope with uncertainty. To cope with uncertainty and change. To cope with uncertainty and change. i.e., with the help of planning, an enterprise can predict. The help of planning, an enterprise can predict the future events, and make due provision for them. The future events and make due provision for them, instead of leaving them to chances. Provision for them, instead of leaving them for chances, instead of leaving them to chances. This minimizes risks. This minimizes risks while taking advantage. This minimizes risks while taking advantage of opportunities. Taking advantage of opportunities. Continue and say, planning keeps management alert. Planning keeps management alert to the changing environment. Planning keeps management alert to the changing environment of business. To the changing environment of business. Number 3. Planning provides sense of direction. It provides sense of direction. You say, planning saves an organization. Planning saves an organization from drifting and avoid unnecessary activities. From drifting and avoid unnecessary activities. What I say, it makes work more meaningful. It makes work more meaningful and activities more orderly. And activities more orderly. Number next. It encourages motivation and creativity. It encourages innovation. It encourages innovation and creativity. It encourages innovation and creativity. Okay. Innovation and creativity are prerequisites to continuous growth. Prerequisite to continuous growth and steady prosperity of business. And steady prosperity of business. Continue and say, as enterprise becomes more dynamic, planning requires continuous monitoring. Planning requires continuous monitoring of the environment, for the new ideas and development. Number next, it helps in coordination. You say, planning integrates various forces at work. Say diverse. It integrates various or diverse forces at organization. We say the activities and the efforts of the various departments. And division can be harmonized with the help of the overall plan. Can be harmonized with the help of the overall plan. Number next, it guides decision making. It is planning, guides decision making. And you say, planned target planned targets serve as a criteria. Planned target serves as a criteria for evaluation, serves as a criteria for evaluation of different alternatives. For evaluation of different alternatives, so that the best course of action, may be chosen. The best course of action may be chosen for predicting the future. For predicting the future. Number next, it provides a basis for delegation. It provides a basis for delegation. You say, planning helps in the delegation. Planning helps in the delegation of authority. Planning involves delegation of authority to lower levels of management. To lower levels of management. Just a minute. Tuko wapi? Waziri?
Lower level of management.
Madam.
Unalala.
Hapana, mimi niko rada. Tuko lower level of management.
Yeah. Which nini? Which importance number?
7.
Good God.
Wallahi, I wanted to say 7 also.
Ati?
I was saying 7, but somebody is saying before me today.
Yeah, definitely. Nisaidia. Nisaidia manani ya. Florence bado huko? Florence.
Lawrence ako party after party.
Yeah.
Unasemaje?
Huko?
Najaribu.
Oye, Florence, pole sana.
Class mpaka saa ngapi madam?
Yeah?
Class yaisha saa ngapi?
Naona
Jamani,
bado mwana watoto wanaamka kesho wapeleke shule kama Sadia huyo. Ruth na Masi wako sawa, Edu wako sawa, Daniel na mimi na wewe, lakini Sadia na Florence wako sawa leo.
Leo lakini ni kwa siku kidogo tu.
Fahima acha uchokozi.
Madam hata tuwaruhusu tena kuongea, sauti zao zinatisha. Mute all of us sasa.
Tuendelee. Planning provides efficiency in operations. Number next. It provides efficiency in operations. You see, planning makes it possible for things to occur. Planning makes it possible for things to occur. for things to occur which will not otherwise happen. Planning makes it possible for things to occur which will not otherwise happen. You see, it improves the competitive strength. It improves the competitive strength of organization. It improves the competitive strength of an organization by helping it to discover and exploit opportunities. By helping it to discover and exploit opportunities. Continue saying, planned effort is always more efficient. Planned effort is always more efficient than unplanned action. Than unplanned actions. Number next, planning facilitates control. Planning facilitates control. You say, planning provides a basis. Planning provides a basis for control. Planning provides a basis for control. Continue to say, plans serve as a standard. Plans serve as a standard for evaluation of performance. Serve as a standard for evaluation of performance. What can I say? Sound plans enables management to control. Enables management to control the events rather than be controlled by them. Be controlled by them, i.e., control cannot be exercised. Control cannot be exercised without plans. Without plans. Because why is it that? Because control is to ensure that the activities conforms to the plans. The activities conforms to the plans. And any attempt to control without the plans, is meaningless. Is meaningless. And there is no gauge for performance. Is meaningless and there is no gauge for performance. Limitation of planning or disadvantages. Limitation of planning or disadvantages. Number one, planning is based on forecasts. Planning is based on forecasts, which are never 100%. Planning are based on forecasts, which are never 100%. Therefore, the accuracy and the reliability of the forecast, therefore, the accuracy and reliability of forecast diminishes as the forecasting period increases. As the forecasting period increases. Now, what you're saying there is that predicts can never be 100% true. For example, you can look at the weather and you say, it seems tomorrow it will rain heavily. It means tomorrow it will rain. That means you have already made a plan, whether it's a short-term plan, a middle-term plan, or a long-term plan. In this case, it's a short-term plan. Now, after you have said maybe tomorrow it will rain, that means when you get out of your house, you'll dress warmly. You dress jackets or hood or whichever how you dress it, but you dress warm. And then it happens that the time you have dressed that, there is no cold, there's no rain, you're just there. So it means now you look for somewhere, you can now try to change your clothing, to change your attires. We're saying planning, even if it is very good, setting up the future, but sometimes the future is unpredictable. The future is unknown, and therefore you may not be able to clearly or ascertain the clear cut to say this is what's going to happen in the future. Number two, it is time consuming. It is time consuming and expensive process. It is time consuming and expensive process. You put a hyphen and say time, effort and money. Time, effort and money are required in the collection and analysis in the collection and the analysis of data, in the formulation of the revised plans. In the formulation of the revised plans. Number next, you say planning may result in internal inflexibility. Planning may result in internal inflexibilities and procedural rigidity. Which curb, C-U-R-B, which curb, initiative and individual freedom. which curb individual and which curb initiative and individual freedom. Number next, planning often requires changes in the existing setup. Planning often requires changes in the existing setup. For example, like we said, for us to be able to achieve this, you need to have done this and this and this. So maybe umezoea kulala saa 4, sasa unabidi kulala saa 4:30 because we are doing planning and therefore you are changing your schedule. We are revising, we are changing, we are rescheduling your timetable until it fits where all of us are comfortable. So I'm saying that planning, it may result to do what? To changes in the existing setup. Maybe ulikuwa umezoea kulala saa 4. Now that you have an LM, you will be forced now to be lala saa 5 after the LM. That means in case you have changed your, this is ambushing. Yeah. What is ambushing, Waziri? So we're saying, so planning, yes, you are changing your status, you're changing your routine, and that is one of the disadvantage. Exactly, that's why one of the disadvantage. Number next, planning may create a false sense of security. Planning may create a false sense, false, a false sense of security in the organization. Say, managers may feel that all the problems will be solved. All the problems will be solved once the plans are put into a place. Will be solved once the plans are put into operation. Are put into operation. But in reality, managers has to continuously revise. Managers have to continuously revise the plans and regularly check on their execution. Number next, the effectiveness of planning may be affected. The effectiveness of planning may be affected by internal and external forces. By internal and external forces, which are beyond the control of those responsible for preparing the plans. Responsible for preparing the plans. And lastly, you can say Planning may be unduly influenced. Planning may be unduly influenced by the big bosses, into quotes. The big boss, we put them into quotes. By the big boss, we put them into quotes of the organization. By big boss. Big boss into quotes. By big boss in the organization. i.e., it is very difficult to measure. Very difficult to measure. Very difficult to measure. To measure accurately the effectiveness of planning. To measure accurately the effectiveness of planning. Now, that is all about planning and the disadvantages of planning. Any question? Kwa swali, Ruth, kwa swali? Or maoni? Waziri, swali? Umeelewa kila kitu on the planning?
Kila kitu nimeshikanisha. I will always remember NTC with the classes as we are trying to adjust the timetable.
Poleni, msijali. Niko siku kidogo tu. Miezi miwili tu imebakia alafu malize. Yeah, it's for your own good. Haya, sawa sawa, wengine wataka kulala, tumetaka kusafiri pia.
Safe journey mwalimu.
Asante. Haya, safari wakati mwema, usiku mwema.
Mwalimu, Ramadhani watu wana swali ile tarawih, unajua sasa itabidi classes tutengeneze vizuri. Unajua wewe unakaa tu Mswahili hivi Muislamu. Sasa itabidi itabidi tutetee hizi classes. Sasa utuweke mpaka saa 10:30 alafu usiku wa tulale. Sasa sisi tutakaa mazombi mwezi ukiisha.
Wewe ukisema utaka zombi mimi seme nini?
Hampatikani wakati mwingine, hamna wakati mwingine. Ama mtakuja early morning?
Early morning tutakuwa
madam.
Kwa sababu wengine wanaenda job. No, we will just see vile tutafanya inshallah. At least ile na wale ambao hawafungi na wao wasione, kwa sababu wanatuheshimu, wanatusikiliza, but we should also be considerate.
Exactly.
Manake ni mwezi mmoja tu utaisha inshallah.
Itaisha. Tutaombea dua tuishe haraka.
Tutakuwa tunatumia picture kwa WhatsApp. Ile mapochopocho tunakula.
Tuweke.
Fanya diet waziri.
Good night, Sadia. Lala wewe bwana.
Edu, uko sawa? Haya, sawa. Laleni. Sawa, usiku mwema. Tunaneni Thursday. Same time.
Okay.
Which is same time mwalimu? 8:30 ama 8?
8:30.
Na class na ile class tulomiss recover lini mwalimu ala start on Thursday.
Yeah, you are only doing LM. Some of us are doing 4 units. Please. We jipange. Mwalimu, good night.
Nauliza
Please, mwalimu.
replacement kwani hatukaifai kwa na replacement?
Mwalimu, please end the session.
tutajua-
Hii class ya makelele, lakini Florence ndo amekosekana leo. Amelala.
tutajua before
Mimi sijacheka lakini leo siko kwa hiyo.
tutajua before after this month tutajua tutarecover lini, but we look for that time. Lazima nilipe deni leni.
Haya, sawa, good night.
Good night.
Vile for as long as utatufunza kila kitu within the
Mwalimu
schedule.
toka. Sasa good night hapa.
Good night, mwalimu.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.